All right, last week was different, to say the least. You're home. Your spouse is probably home. The kids are home. And it can be a little bit overwhelming, but it can also be a good opportunity.
Joining us on the KOGO News Live line, President of San Diego-based National Conflict Resolution Center, Stephen Dinkin. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
Is there such a thing as too much togetherness?
Well, we always want to be together as a family. We've always talked about it, but in these times, maybe there is too much togetherness. But I think we can make the best of it. And there's a number of different tips that we have at the National Conflict Resolution Center that really come out of our mediation methodology and our conflict resolution training that I think could apply to families in these times.
So let's talk about that. You get together and it's fine right up until it's not, and you start getting on each other's last nerve. So how do you stop yourself from getting to that point?
Well, I think it starts with being prepared. And one of the things that we recommend is to begin with a family meeting. So I think we should all get together in your homes, possibly at the dinner table, and have a discussion and lay out the plan for the coming week. Today is Monday. We have a whole week ahead of us. And the key is to really engage everyone in the family in the discussion. Even the children should have input. So if everyone feels that they're being heard, that they get their perspectives on the table, they'll feel more bought into the family plan.
Also talk about setting boundaries. And how do you do that, and what does that mean?
I think of boundaries both as psychological and physical. And with regard to physical space, now that we're all in the same household, we're accustomed to going off to work, but now that we have to share the same workspace, perhaps we can create different offices for each other in the house. If we can do that, maybe we can transform one of the bedrooms into a temporary office space or the den. Or if you have to share the same space, maybe set out times, 1 to 3 o'clock. One person can work 9 to noon. Another person can work, and sort of work out a plan like that. But also just psychological. There's times when people need their own just psychological space, and so I think just a time out where people can reflect and think about the day. You have to give each other just psychological in addition to physical space.
All right, so kids are a little bit less logical, right? They have their feelings, and they sort of run on feelings. And when they're feeling cooped up and cramped up, and they might be coming into the office and giving you a hard time, or the wife or husband, spouse a hard time, how do you sort of de-escalate them?
Part of the key to the interaction with your kids is how you're reacting to their behavior, because it's your reaction that can really sets the stage for what happens with the family. And so rather than reacting negatively to their behavior, find ways to distract, find ways to deflect the challenging behavior. I know it's hard to do that in the moment, but oftentimes, children are looking for that reaction, and if you can maintain control, put them off balance with not pushing back, but distracting, deflecting their behavior, it might just settle them down for a moment.
And you also say it's important to maintain a sense of humor. How do you do that?
In these times, I think humor is such a critical part of maintaining sanity. And I know with some of my friends, for example, we're on group chats and using electronic media. People are sending around humorous messages and finding some really good ideas to sort of lift the spirits. I know my mother, for example, she's in her 80s. She's home by herself. And so I talk to her on the phone every day. I come up with memories and stories and humor rather than just focus on what's so negative.
Well, and sometimes that's difficult to do, but it is necessary. Steve Dinkin, who is the president of San Diego's based National Conflict Resolution Center, thank you so much.
My pleasure.